So today we will start with the second problem. Before we start with the second problem, there are some concepts that you need to understand. So the first concept here is present value factor. Say suppose now Maria is you are Maria, and say I have denoted 0 as of today, okay, and this is 5 years hence. This is the timeline. This is 5 years hence, and this is today. Say if Maria received 5 lakh rupees today, she could have done a lot with 5 lakh rupees today, right? And say if Maria received 5 lakh rupees here, that is after 5 years, could she have done the same thing that she could have done today? So after 5 years, if Maria had to receive 5 lakhs instead of today, she has received it after 5 years. Can she buy the same thing like she could have bought it today? Which means 5 lakh, the value has reduced, right? So as a business person, you want to know what is the value of this 5 lakh which you're supposed to receive in the future, okay? What is the value of it as on today? So we'll go to the next concept called as time value of money. Now we'll come to the same example, say Maria. Now time value of money, you need to understand one thing is, money kept idle by itself, it loses its value over time. So if you keep money idle, say you keep money in your cupboard, it is not going to fetch you any returns, right? So keeping money in your cupboard or keeping money in your pocket for about 5 years or 10 years, your money is going to lose its value. I'll show you how. Say suppose the bank had given Maria 5 lakh rupees today. So Maria, with this particular money, she could have bought 100 square meters, say land in a particular area. Say in Margao, she could have bought 100 square meters land. Now say if the bank had not given Maria 5 lakhs today and gave her 5 lakhs after 5 years, would it be possible for Maria to buy the same land after 5 years? It would not be possible to buy the same land because obviously the price of this land would increase. So this is what we understand by time value of money. Money kept idle will lose its value over time. So therefore, as a business person, you want your money not to remain idle but to generate returns. Coming to the concept here now, suppose you are a business person and say today you have put 1 lakh. Say after 1 year you have put another 1 lakh. So similarly 5 times you have put 1 lakh every year, which means you have put 5 lakhs over these years. Now what happens here is, as of today 1 lakh is worth 1 lakh as of today, but after 1 year this 1 lakh as of today could have been only say 98,000. Say after 2 years the same 1 lakh could be, as of today, could be only, I'll take it from down, sorry, say 1 lakh after 1 year could be 98,000, say as of today. So here if we talk about this 1 lakh after 2 years, as of today it would have been 96,000. So 3 lakhs as of today would have been only 94,000, and say after 4th year 1 lakh would have been, as of today, it would have been 92,000. So basically, if you are investing your money as of today's date, it would not be 5 lakhs. It would be 1 lakh plus 98,000 plus 96,000 plus 94,000 plus 92,000. So this would be your amount invested as of today. Moving to the next concept called as cash flow. Now in cash flow means simply the movement of cash. So movement of cash in and out of a business is called cash flow. So in cash flow there are 2 types again: inflow, cash inflow, and cash outflow. Now say for example, say we'll talk about inflow. Say suppose now you have sold some goods and you have received money. So money is coming into your business, right? So it is coming inside, therefore it is called as inflow. Say you have invested in an FD and the bank has paid you some interest, so that money is coming into your business, right? So it is called inflow. Outflow is just the opposite. Say you have bought something, you have purchased some raw material, in that case your money is flowing outside, so that is called outflow. Say you have paid your loan, EMI, in this case your money is going out, it is going out of your business. So we term it as outflow. Now with respect to present value factor concentrates only on outflow of cash. Now we need to understand why does it concentrate only on the outflow of cash. Say suppose now you are a businessman and you have money to invest. Wherever if you invest your money rightly, you will get right returns. If you put your money in the wrong investment, you will not get correct returns. You may in fact go into a loss. So everything depends first on where you spend or how well you spend. Depending on how well you spend, depending on this you will get returns. So as a businessman, first and foremost we need to see how well we are spending. So how well is our cash being invested. So now coming to our topic. In our topic now we have to buy the asset or we have to lease the asset. Now in this case, when we are buying the asset, we are spending. So we have to buy the right asset, we have to buy it at the right amount. Okay. Now say we are buying the right asset, we are buying it at the right amount. So now comes the thing is, do we buy the asset outright? Do we pay cash? Or do we take it on loan? Or do we rent the asset? Now in all these cases, see, with respect to cash, the outflow is on one particular time, as of today. Say suppose I'm buying the asset, you're buying a bike. Say you're buying the bike with cash, right? So you're paying it as of today. There is only one time there is outflow. But suppose say you're taking the bike on loan. Now in that case you're paying a EMI. Now there is an EMI for the next 5 years, there is outflow. Say suppose you're taking the same thing on rent and you're renting it out for say 5 years. In that case there will be outflow for 5 years. So we come to the last part, that is the last concept, that is tax saved. Now understand what is tax saved. Say we all know as per income tax, from 0 to 2,50,000 the slab is nil, tax slab is nil. From 2,50,000 to 5 lakhs, it is 5%. Now what happens is, say suppose a person is earning 3 lakhs. Now right now we will ignore the rebate and all that. Okay, just say a person is earning 3 lakhs, which means 50,000 is still falling above this slab, right? So on 50,000 the person is going to be taxed 5%, correct? So 5% comes to 2,500 tax the person will have to pay, correct? Now what happens here is, suppose now you are a tax consultant and this person came to you. Now what you would have told this person is, if you want to save this 2,500, do one thing. This 50,000 you invest it in ATC. So you would have said invest it in PPF or NPS or whatever you like. So you would have told him invest this 50,000 in ATC and you will have to pay 0 tax, correct? Now the same thing happens here in business. Now in business, say there is a profit and loss, and say income here is 2 lakhs, and say expenses here are 1 lakh. So say profit in this case is 1 lakh, right? So 2 lakhs minus 1 lakh is the profit. Now say if we take tax is at 40%. Now 40% of 1 lakh, it is coming to 40,000 is your tax which is paid to the government. Now suppose this same person came to you and you're a tax consultant and said, I don't want to pay this much tax to the government. So what you would have said is, do one thing, you try to expand your business, invest it in something, buy a machine or buy land or increase your expenses. So what you have done is, now you have increased your expenses now to 50,000. So in this case now your profit has changed. Obviously now it is not 1 lakh, now it is how much? 50,000. So on 50,000, 40% of 50,000, now in this case it's going to be 20,000 tax. So what you have done is, instead of paying 40,000 tax, now what you are doing is, now you are paying only 20,000 tax. So basically you have saved 20,000. Why? Because your expenses have increased. Now the same thing is here when we are talking about the problem. In the problem, we are talking about buying decision and lease decision. See, the asset is not bought or it has not been taken on lease. We are still yet to decide whether to buy or to take it on lease. So once we buy it or once we take it on lease, at that particular time our expenses are going to increase, and because our expenses are increasing, therefore we will be saving some amount of tax. Our outflow is going to reduce. That means if we were paying, suppose we were having profits before and we were paying 40,000 as tax. Now because of this additional expense that we have taken upon us, irrespective whether it was buying or we have taken it on lease, because of this decision, the thing is our tax has been saved. So while doing the problem, you will understand this concept that I am trying to explain to you, tax saved concept. So now we will start with the problem. Now in the problem, what is given, we will see. The problem, the present value factor is given, okay, it is 10%. Now for each year it is given in the problem. First year it is 0.909, second year it is 0.826, so it is given. Now what happens here is, please understand, in the previous problem we were trying to find the profits. So when we are trying to find the profits, we are trying to see the profit and loss, that is how much are we receiving, okay, and what are the expenses, accordingly what is the profit. So income minus expenses, we are trying to find the profits. Now here we are trying to see the present value factor. Now present value factor is not profits, we are not looking at the profits, we are looking at only the cash outflow. Okay, we are trying to study what is the cash outflow over a period of 5 years and what is its value as of today. So as minimum as possible, a businessman wants to spend least money and he wants to get maximum output. So he wants to get maximum profits and spend the least amount of money. So here we are trying to see how much is he spending. Okay, although he is spending it over a period of 5 years, we are trying to see what is the value of this 5 years as of today. Okay, so we'll start with the problem. Now the first thing is, this problem is linked to the first problem, so we will have to take some data from the first problem. Now the first thing there is loan repayment. Now if you notice, loan repayment we had not taken in the previous problem, because there we were calculating the profit and loss, and repayment principal amount is not taken in the profit and loss. But here with respect to cash flow, we take loan repayment, that is the principal amount we take it here, because the money is going out, whether it is interest or whether it is principal, the money is going out, right? So since it is going out, we record it in the cash flow. So this is cash outflow. Okay, we are not looking about the inflow, we are looking only at the outflow. So for 5 years the principal amount was 20,000 each year. Now the next thing is interest paid. Now for this problem again you will have to refer to the previous problem. In the previous problem we have done interest paid. I've shown you how to calculate interest paid. So we will just take the figures from the previous problem, that is 10,000 for the first year, 8,000 for the second year, 6,000 for third, 4,000 for the fourth, and 2,000 for the fifth year. Now if we look at the total amount of cash outflow, now this is cash outflow. Yes, this is with respect to buying the asset. Okay, now with respect to buying the asset, this is the cash outflow. With respect to lease, we will be doing it in the later half. Okay, so cash outflow with respect to buying the asset, here it comes to 30,000. In this case it comes to 28,000. So for the third year it is 26,000, fourth year it is 24,000, and fifth year it is 22,000. Now the next thing given there is depreciation. depreciation at 15%. Now before I write it down, there is one thing to tell you. Depreciation is a non-cash item, and now you will wonder why I have taken depreciation here. Depreciation is a non-cash item, so it should not have come in the cash flow. Depreciation here is taken only to calculate the profit. And why we have to calculate the profit? I had shown you something called as tax saved, right? If you look at the tax saved, now we calculate tax based upon the profit, and therefore we calculate this depreciation only to calculate the profit. So what we will do is we will just note down the depreciation now. The depreciation calculation is also as per the previous problem. So it is coming to how much? 15,000. Here in this case it is 12,750. Here it is 10,838. In this case it is 9,212. And here it is 7,830. Now here what we have to do is, in order to find out the profit, first we need to know the expenses. I'll just show it to you how. Now in this case I'll show you why we are taking directly only the expenses. In the previous problem we had taken an assumption of the profits income, right? That is the profit. Now here we are just taking only the expenses. I'll show it to you how we are doing it. Now say Tata's has a profit of 100 crores. Presently they have a profit of 100 crores, and say the tax is 40%. So what is the tax amount now on 100 crores is 40 crores, correct? Now what happens here is Tata has to take a decision as of today whether they want to buy an asset or lease an asset. Now say they have taken one of the decisions, say they have taken to lease the asset, because of which their expenses increase by 200 crores. So now if the expenses have increased by 200 crores, that means their profits have reduced, correct? See here, Tata's expenses, because of they want to lease an asset, okay, say the expenses will increase by 200 crores. So if the expenses increase by 200 crores, the profits will reduce. I've shown it to you in the problem there, in the concept. Yeah. So here I said expenses were 1 lakh. If you increase your expenses, your profits will reduce, and thereby you will be saving your tax, correct? The same thing is here. So suppose now say, since your expenses have increased, your profits have reduced to 80 crores. Thereby your tax has decreased to 32 crores, which means you have saved 8 crore tax. And this is what the businessman wants to know: how much the tax is he going to save, how much tax is going to save if he's going to buy that asset or lease that particular asset. So now this is one way of finding it out. The second way of finding it out is just by knowing the expenses, by how much it has increased. So suppose I tell the businessman, if your expenses increase by 200 crores, directly what is the percentage of tax? 40%. So 40% of 200 crores, that is 8 crores you are saving. So 40% of 200 crores is 8. Okay, so 8 crores you are saving as tax. Now coming back to the problem here, now we need to find what is the expenses as per the profit and loss. Now expenses as per profit and loss, will you take loan repayment, that is the principal amount will you take? Principal amount does not come into the profit and loss, it comes in the balance sheet. Now what comes in the profit and loss is interest paid. So you will take 2, you will just write here 2 is this 2, okay, plus which is the other expense which comes in the profit and loss is depreciation. So here we are just trying to find the expenses. We are taking this depreciation only to find the tax saved. Okay, so 2 plus 4, that is 2 is 10,000, depreciation here is 15,000, so it comes to 25,000. So in this case it is 8,000 plus 12,750. Here it comes to 20,750. In this case it comes to 16,838. here it comes to 13,212, and here it comes to 9,830. Now we go for the next thing. Next thing is tax saved. Tax saved is 26%. Now if you have seen the tax saved, it is expenses into the tax amount, the tax percentage. Okay, so how much is the expenses? Expenses are 25,000. 25,000 into 26%. 25,000 into 26% is 6,500 you are saving. This much the businessman is saving his taxes by buying this asset. If he's buying this asset on loan, okay, if he's buying this asset on loan, he's saving taxes of 6,500 for the first year. For the second year, he's saving taxes of 5,395. That is 26% of 20,750. Okay. For the third year, he's saving taxes of 4,378. For the fourth year, he's saving taxes of 3,435. And for the fifth year, he's saving taxes of 2,556. And the next thing here is net cash outflow. Now remember one thing is, for net cash outflow, it is cash outflow minus tax saved. Okay, so that is 30,000 minus tax saved is 6,500. So how much you will get is net cash outflow here for the first year is 23,500. I will just show it into 3, that is 3 minus 6. Remember one thing is, net cash outflow is cash outflow, total outflow minus tax saved. How much the businessman is saving taxes by buying that particular asset. Okay, so for the first year the net cash outflow is 23,500. Second year it is 22,605. Third year it is 21,622. Fourth year it is 20,565, and fifth year it is 19,444. Now we go into the next part here, present value factor. Now present value factor, you can simply just take it from the problem. Present value factor, each year you just note it down. Fourth year it is 0.683, and fifth year it is 0.621. Now comes the last part. Last part is present value of net cash outflow. So what is the net cash outflow? Net cash outflow is here 7, that is 23,500. So 23,500 into 0.909. So in this case what you will get is the present value of this 23,000, today's value is going to be 21,362. So this the businessman is going to be spending it after 1 year, right? 23,500. So as of today the value is 21,362. So this after 2 years is spending 22,605. So today the value is going to be 18,672. After 3 years is going to be spending this amount, right? So here it is 16,238. 14,046. I hope you know how we're getting this figure. This amount into this. It's 23,500 into, that is, I'll just show it here, 7 multiplied by 8. This is multiply, okay? So 7, that is 23,500 multiplied by 0.909. And for the fifth year, it's going to be 12,075. So suppose now we want to know what is the total expenditure that, okay, what is the total expenditure we know, but what is the present value of the total expenditure? The present value of the total is for the all 5 years. So if you total up this, we are getting the present value of all 5 years, that is coming to 82,393. So this is the amount as of today that the businessman would be spending if he had to buy that particular asset on loan. Now the thing is, this is not yet over here. Why? Because when you buy it on loan or you had to buy it in cash, the thing is you have ownership of the asset, and since you have ownership of the asset, you can sell the asset. So what happens here is, now we have to calculate sale of asset. Now when we calculate sale of asset, here we do not have to calculate the profit or loss on sale of asset. We only want to know how much of money is coming in. Why? Because we are not considered about the profit or loss, we are considered about the cash flow, whether money is coming in or money is going out. So when we sell the asset, one thing is money is going out, so it is not outflow, it is inflow, but still we have to consider it here as a minus. If money was going out, we would add it to this outflow. Since money is coming in, we are going to minus it. Now sale of asset is 20,000. Now this 20,000 is after 5 years. So what is the value of this 20,000 after 5 years? This multiplied by 0.621. So 0.621. So what is the value of this 20,000 after 5 years? Today is 12,420. So this is the present value of the inflow. So therefore we are going to minus. So the inflow is going to be 12,420. Why? Because it's related to this particular loan. See, it's related to this buying of this particular asset, right? We are buying it on loan. So after 5 years, we are going to sell this particular asset. Now when we sell this asset, we are going to receive some money. So we want to know what is the total outflow. So therefore we are minusing this particular inflow from this asset. Otherwise we would not be considering it. So 82,393 minus 12,420. So the total outflow, the present value of the total outflow is 69,973. So it is like spending, for the businessman, it is like spending 69,973 as of today. So this is how much he would have spent. Okay, so we'll go to the next. Now going to the second part of the problem, that is lease. Now with respect to lease, what is the cash outflow? With respect to lease, there is only one thing, that is lease rental amount. Okay, we do not have anything like interest paid, we do not have loan repayment, we do not have depreciation, because we do not own the asset, so no depreciation. We do not have interest paid. Why? Because we are taking it on lease, we are not taking it on loan, right? So here there is only one thing called as lease rent. Now lease rent for all the 3 years, it is the same. So it is 30,000 for all, not all 3 years, sorry, all 5 years. 30,000, 30,000 and 30,000. Now what happens here is, we want to find what is the expense. Now here we have said tax saved, right? In this problem here we have shown tax saved. Now tax saved we have multiplied into the expenses of the profit and loss. By how much has our expenses increased? Our expenses here have increased by 25,000. Okay, now here lease rent is the sole expense. So this is the expense of profit and loss. This itself is the expense. There is nothing else to be added here. So what we can do is directly we can go in for tax saved. See, in lease there is only one expense, so our expense is increasing only by 30,000. Is there any additional expenses that it's going to come into the profit and loss? There is no other additional expense. So what happens here is 30,000 is the only expense, so directly we can find tax saved. So tax saved is 26% of 30,000. So 26% of 30,000 is 7,800. So again put it in brackets because we are going to minus it from the expense. So 7,800 So what is our net cash flow? Our net cash outflow is 1 minus 2. Okay, what is 1? Is this one minus 2. This 2 is from here. Okay, so the amount is, in this case, it is 22,200. Now with all the years it is going to be the same. 22,200, 22,200. All 5 years it is the same. Now we find the present. Now the present value, directly you copy it from here, like we have copied it here. The same thing we'll copy in this case. So it is 0.909, 0.826, 0.751, 0.683, 0.621. And the last part here is present value of net cash outflow. So what is the net cash outflow? 3 multiplied by 4. So 3 multiplied by 4, that is 22,200. 22,200 multiplied by 0.909. So what we are going to get here is 20,180. Now this is the value, present value of 22,200 after 1 year. So if we receive 22,200 or we spend 22,200 after 1 year, it is like spending as of today 20,180. In this case it is 18,337. In this case it is 16,672. In this case it is fourth year, it is 15,163, and in the fifth year it is 13,786. So now what we want to know is, for all 5 years, what is the present value? So over 5 years, this is how much the present value is, right? So the total amount, if we take of all these years, we will get the present value of all 5 years. So of all 5 years, present value is 84,138. So now here it is like the businessman is spending 84,138. Now tell me one thing here is, as a businessman you want to spend the least amount, right? So in case you had taken the asset on lease, you were spending 84,138, and in case you were taking the asset on, you're buying the asset, okay, since you were buying the asset, okay, again here on loan, you are spending, as of today you're spending 69,973. So therefore corporate should buy the asset or own the asset, whatever you want, as present value is 69,973, which is less than the present value while leasing the asset. So this, we come to the end of the second problem. So present value, the formula is this way: present value is equal to future value upon 1 plus r raised to n. Now present value is x, say we don't know. Future value is say 1. This is 1 of 1 rupee. The future value is 0.909. Okay, so basically it is 1 rupee. So this is future value is 1. So 1 plus 1 upon r is 10%. This 10%. This is given. So they will tell you, is it 10%, 5%, 12%, whatever is the figure, they'll tell you. In fact, they will even tell you all this, but I'm just showing it to you how to find out. So 1 into 10% raised to n. Now n will be 1 year. In the first case it is 1 year. In the second case it is 2 years, right? So we will just find out now how much it is. So is equal to 1 upon, we will find out this now, 1 plus 10% is 1.1. So 1.1 raised to 1. So 1.1 raised to 1 is 1.1 itself. So it is equal to 1 upon 1.1. So 1 divided by 1.1 is equal to, you can see here, 0.909 is equal to 0.909. Now we'll do it for the second case. Second case is, we will see for 2 years. For 2 years it is 1 upon 1 plus 10% raised to 2. This is 2 years, okay. So therefore it is 1 upon 1.1 raised to 2 is equal to 1 upon 1.21. 1.21. How I get 1.21 is this way, 1.1 into 1.1, 1.21. So 1 divided by 1.21, it is equal to 0.826. So similarly, now what you can do is you can find for 12% and you can find for 15% and 5%, whatever present value factor in the percentage. Even if this is not given, you can find it by yourself. Thank you, and next we'll go to the next problem.